So hello everyone, many students from India have been wondering how their applications from their local boards such as CBSE, ICSE board is considered for US pool of applications. So that's why today we have Virginia here who has helped hundreds of students in this field. So hi Virginia, can you please introduce yourself? And she is indeed a college advisor in the US.
Hi everybody, nice to see you. And I want to say first of all, congratulations for being here, because you want to learn, and that's half the battle. I'm Virginia Brown, a college admissions advisor. I graduated from Princeton and Columbia, which was a complete privilege. I'm not associated with Princeton officially in any way, although I'm a very active alumni. So I'm here today to kind of help you guys, and there are a few pointers that I can pass along, and Arnoon has been awesome to invite me. So here I am.
Well, thank you so much, Virginia. So my first question will be, what Indians have missing in their college application? So when you look at so many applications, when you compare a college application from India and versus from the US, what do you think is more likely missing, and what students can work on?
That's a great question. In India, you guys mostly concentrate on your academics, because you have to study so hard for those very hard examinations, and I totally understand. But in the United States, it's different. You really have to have your grades, and then you have to have activities. So it's two-pronged. So you guys probably don't know that. So if you play the flute, or you're great at gardening, or you like debating, or any kind of thing like that, you need to balance, because they're filling a community, and they have to fill all the niches within the community, not just the people who study.
So can you share an example of what unique activity, how it stands out towards a university?
Sure, absolutely. I'll give you an example. I had one student who had a beautiful voice, and she sang in a choir, and she sang at church and everything else. So she was able to put that down in her application, and she did quite well. Their grades were fine. They weren't perfect, but that gave her another little niche within the university. So they're very happy about that, because they have to fill their community. So that's a great way to do it. If you're, paint or whatever, put that down. So you'll be more dynamic, and you'll be able to fill the niches a little bit more. So something like that. Does that help?
So another question is very common about grades. So in India, we have percentages or CGPA system, which is out of 10 or out of 100%. But in the US, what's more common is GPA out of 4 or 5, depending on the students taking AP exams. So how exactly that system considered for schools like Princeton, Harvard, and how they convert it, or how do they consider?
Okay, another great question. And I want to make sure everybody knows it's for all the schools, not just the top ones that are nearly impossible to get into. There's usually a person who handles the applications from India, because there's so many of you. So they translate it for you, because there's really no way you can do that. There's really no way you can do that. So you don't really have to worry about that. Now, if you can take the SATs or the ACTs, which are not required this year, which you guys are really lucky they are not, that's a common score that can be used. So that would be good. But your grades, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just do well, and you'll be fine.
Totally. I remember, so when I was applying to different universities, I remember schools like Georgia Tech versus schools like some state universities were asking me to go to an evaluation company and submit my scores, including 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th predicted scores. And then they give me the conversion or the converted GPA, which is out of 4, just like in America. So I had to pay around $100 for that. But now currently most of the schools like Georgia Tech and most of the 90% of the schools I've seen, they do not require you to go to an evaluation company. They have people who convert it, because there are like so many Indians in the admission community. They know how the system works. So they just understand it the way it is, right?
Yeah, every school's different, so I can't really say for every school, but generally the larger schools for sure. Now, if you're going to go to a private institution that's got 2,000 or 3,000 kids, like Amherst or Williams, that are spectacular, Hamilton, whatever, you may need to just look into it. It's always just ask if you don't know, and hopefully you don't have to do that.
So now let's talk about extracurriculars, and first will be about activities. So when you think about activities, what is recommended to get into 5, 6, or maybe 10 different types of activities, including fields of sciences, math, technology, drama, poetry, cricket, badminton, or just pick 2 to 3. What would you recommend in this scenario?
Sure. Activities is a very large category. So I like to put it into 3 sections. It's easier to think about it that way. The first section I think of is kind of closer to the academic stuff. That's if you're the president of the physics club, you're the editor of the newspaper, your class president, those things are closely related. So that goes kind of near the top in that section. The second section is really about how you volunteered in other places. What other programs have you run or created? Like a recycling program or helping younger kids to read. Some kind of wildlife thing is very popular in the United States. And those things you have to be careful. You really only want to put down 2 or 3 of those things because there's only one way you can, there's no way you can do more than 2 or 3 of those things and do them really well. So you don't want to put down like 6 things because then the universities will say, well, they're just putting that down to look good. But what's going to look better, and please do it anyway, is to just focus on a couple things and really knock it out of the park. That's really good, okay? The academic stuff, put in everything that you've got, everything. You put the best stuff at the top. This one just restricted a little bit. Hopefully you will anyway. And then the one on the bottom, kind of, I think of more sports and hobbies. You like to play Frisbee, say that, hiking, if you're a good writer, those types of things. It's similar to my friend who was the singer. So that's it. That's a big category. So generally the 3 sections I think will be helpful.
Yep. So it's more about the quality rather than the quantity, right?
Yes. Perfect. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Yep. And in terms of sports, many students play badminton, cricket, soccer. So do you think badminton and cricket are valid sort of sports to engage in for US applications or no?
Well, it's important to put it down, but it kind of doesn't translate because nobody plays that here. And I mean, very few people. And again, they're trying to fill out a community. So a community doesn't have a cricket team usually. They may have soccer, usually have soccer. So I would, being straightforward, not really. No, not really.
Yeah, I would like to add on to this. For example, in Georgia Tech, I have seen a cricket community, and in that community, only South Asians are there. And they could fall into that because they wrote in their application when they applied. So every single thing stands out. But in terms of, I think, sports scholarships, which students get, they cannot get it because they cannot fill in the gap of soccer or the list of sports. In the list of sports, cricket and badminton is not there usually, right?
Exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah. Right. You got to do swimming. You got to be a theater person. So, absolutely. Yeah. Perfect.
Another important part of college applications is college interview, which used to be less common before, but now it's very common. Pretty much every university is going for it and having it for each and every student, whether it's undergrad or master's. So what do you think? How much effort students should put into it? How much does it matter?
Again, that's a great question. If you get one, it's great. If you don't get one, don't worry about it. So the interview can really only improve your application. It won't hurt it. And that's true because not everybody gets one. But if you can get one, totally go for it. Grab it because you have an opportunity to have them remember you from just a piece of paper. And if you blow them away and you're spectacular and you're awesome, and I can tell you to do that, they'll write you a great letter. So you have an opportunity to just have another level of humanity and being remembered and being spectacular and having good energy. Good energy goes really far, almost more than what you say. If you come in and you're like this, they'll say, hey, this person is dynamic and really fun, and here should be great for the school.
If you would like to share some examples of questions they can ask.
Okay. Some of the questions they might ask, and you can see them online. What's your favorite book? Who do you admire? What's an obstacle you've overcome? Where do you want to be in 10 years? So a lot of those, you really have to think about just for a few minutes. So the one that I think is funny is, where do you want to be in 10 years? And most of the time people are like, I don't know, I don't know what to do tomorrow, So, but it's really an opportunity to stand out. And you could say, all right, if I like international relations, I'll go work at the UN, and then maybe I'll go work in Switzerland. So it's really fantastic because you can say whatever you want, and you can pretend you can be whatever you want. So that's it. People look at it as being hard, but you can say whatever you want, so you can have a lot of fun. Now, when I say you can do whatever you want, just make sure it's related to your major. You don't want to go off the deep end and say you want to be a rock star. If you're majoring in biology, say you want to go be a doctor, and have some fun with it, but be logical. It's not just all for fun.
Now, the most important part of the applications, what people say is actually the most standing out part of the application is your essay, which actually kind of reflects your personality. So what are the things students should keep in their mind while writing an essay? Should it be a story? Should it be just a straightforward answer? So how it should be structured according to you?
Okay, another great question. The most important thing is to be remembered, like everything else. And to be remembered, you should write a good essay. Now, what you can do is you can look online and look at different structures. And I know that's a little detailed, but you tell stories, definitely. And the most important thing is to be specific and genuine. I'll give you a quick example. I had one student who said, a big obstacle I had was when I moved and I went to a new family. Well, that's hard, but that's not memorable. So I said, all right, well, what was the day like? What was the day like when you moved? So he told me about that. And that's what you want your essay to say. So I call it the 3, 2, 1. Just keep going, think of it, and then more specific and more specific. And that's what you want.
Totally. Sometimes it's confusing how much specific you should get, but try to narrow it down. Students just say place, but they have to go deep down: place, time, venue. So, right. Kind of an example. Yeah.
And let me just give you another example, just so people can understand it. They read lots of essays. So which one would you remember? And I said, I moved to a new place and it was really hard. My aunts and uncles, weren't as nice to me and I didn't have my friends. Okay. Or I moved to a new environment and some people were bullying me. During that day, I found that I had some inner strength and I was able to overcome a lot of things that I didn't think I could overcome. See?
That's the difference. Second one. So Virginia, let's talk about financial aid, because I know it's important for 90% of the students. They cannot afford US education otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely. It's frightfully expensive. I had financial aid when I went. Most people do. So what you want to do is you want to research which schools provide international financial aid, because a lot of schools don't. So before you even apply, just research that first, because you don't want to get into a university that you're excited about and then not be able to go. So do that first. There are a lot of universities that do that. You can apply for scholarships, and you need to look into that too. And there's usually a way you can figure it out. Just get in and then try everything else.
Totally. It's very important to research if the school you're aiming for gives, then apply. Right. Yeah. For example, a lot of UCs don't give. UC Berkeley, for example, UC Berkeley, UCLA, etc.
It really varies. The state schools don't generally, because they're in state, for the people who live there. Like if you apply to UVA, it's 4 times harder to get in than if you live in that state. So just be smart about it and you'll find something.
Totally. And what are some final tips you would like to give out to the prospective students? Any final thoughts for them?
Yes, absolutely. Just try to be realistic, because a lot of people, especially in India, just go for the top schools, and like 1% get in. And you've got to be more realistic, because you don't want to get crushed when you don't get in. I don't think I could get in now. So find some schools that are 2nd and 3rd tier. And they're awesome. I mean, they're great schools. And for one example, of the top 100 CEOs in our country, only 11% went to Ivy League schools. Everybody else went to regular college. So that doesn't translate into success. And my brother barely got out of college. I mean, just barely, right? And he's way more successful than I am. And here I am, Princeton nerd. I can do anything. He's way more, successful. He's like Harnoon, just like everybody loves him. And remember, you're not defined by the school you go to. That's a title. You're defined about the person that you are. And you're already here trying to better yourself, and that's great. I believe in you, and there are a lot of people who probably do as well. So be proud of that and use that to your advantage and hit the gas now. It's not time to slow down. You've worked for years. So you'll do it. You'll do it. You'll be fine.
Totally. At the end of the day, going to college is already a big privilege because less than 70% of the population get to go to one. So just aim for what you can reach, and then it'll be a smooth journey from there.
Just get here. Just come to the United States. Any college you can get in, just come, because it's a lot easier once you're here. Now, if you stay in India, that's fine. There are a lot of great places there. Your family might not want you to come. So make a good decision. But if you want to come, just come and go to any school. It doesn't matter what it is. Just get here.
Totally. And now how students can connect with you and how they can reach out to you.
Yes, thank you, Harnoon. It's been so great to be here. You guys, hopefully this has been helpful. I'm going to put up some videos that hopefully will help more on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram. And I have a little website that you can write to me if you have a question. And that's about it. And I want you guys to remember that you're really doing good work just by being here. Because if you want to do better, you will. And if you have good energy, it'll keep you going forward. So reach out if you want to, help each other, and you'll do fine. And I wish you luck, and I believe in you.
And remember to sign up for Virginia's seminar as well. She'll be hosting a seminar on 14th October at 7 p.m. IST or 9:30 a.m. EST. And you can get an opportunity to ask her questions live there as well. So definitely check out, and the link will be in the description below. So thank you so much, Virginia. It was a pleasure having you here. I'm sure your information will help out a lot of students in the world. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. My pleasure.